long time on. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So just a little tiny bit about, I don't, we have to share our time together here. So I just want to give you a tiny bit of backstory on me and how I came to be doing what I'm doing. I've been training teachers for 16 years, consistently and constantly. So hundreds of people have gone through my school, and very grateful for that. And some of them are like studio owners and amazing anatomy and physiology teachers of all kinds. Great bunch of people, amazing testimonials that I'm just so grateful for. But my journey started, I was quite young when I started just dabbling in yoga. I kind of just liked the poses. That's really what it was. But then weirdly, it went into meditation before yoga for me. And that was just a natural kind of thing. And it happened when I was quite young, but I didn't know I was meditating. I now know that's what I was doing. Always been called a daydreamer type of person, but I was actually going off with little meditative trips myself, just naturally. And then I forgot about it all for years, ended up in New York when I was 21 and fell into, just by accident, a yoga class in Shivananda Center in 23rd Street. I had no idea what was going on there. I just walked in. It wasn't like now, studios all, checking me in and asking me for money. It was the opposite. It was just like nobody spoke to me. I just walked in and everybody was in a room, kind of huddled in blankets. And I was like, this is funny. And the smell of incense and a pile of shoes. That's all I remember in this old building on 23rd Street. Now I know it's the Shivananda Center. But I went in and I just sat in kind of an awkward kind of way. I didn't know why I was there. I was drawn to go in there. I was stressed coming from my day job that I had. And anyway, I sat in with the people and nobody was moving. They were just sitting. And what they were doing was they were meditating. So I just copied literally what the room was doing. And that was it for me. I just went somewhere. I don't know where. I just took off somewhere and I had this incredible feeling that I've never forgotten. It's lived inside me, that memory of that feeling. And you could call it bliss, you could call it samadhi, but I got it. I got something at that young age. And I went back to my roommate after it, and she was like, where have you been? You are just lit up, And I was like, oh, wow. And, because I got the big compliment, being a bit vain, I was like, I'm going back there again. But anyway, there was a sense of glow to the whole experience. I still couldn't, intellectualize what it was. It was like an experience, and I couldn't explain in my room. I didn't even want to come up me. Nobody wanted to come up me. This is the early 80s in New York. And I just continued to do that. And then go about my day. I never shared it with anybody. I mean, I never spoke about it, but I kept getting this feeling, this experience that would stay with me. So anyway, fast forward on to now, I know that's what that was, that feeling. I know what it is. It's now, well, there's many names for it. We can't even put a proper name on it. There's no words for this feeling. And it's just connecting to the divine. It's one way of putting it, connecting to a part of ourselves that's really there all the time, but, wanting to tap into it and not knowing how, sometimes not aware that it's there. But once you become aware of it, you're forever on that journey. So that's what yoga does for us, essentially. It's just helps us to remember this feeling, this space, this dimension that we all have the ability to tap into. So when you go to a yoga class and you feel pretty good after it, it's not just because you've worked your muscles and bones out. Yes, that definitely contributes. And to have a healthy body or a healthy vessel to go and meditate and have the ultimate experience. That's kind of yoga in a nutshell for me. And that's what keeps me on the path, which is the path. I mean, my life is dedicated to it. I don't do any other job. I just take a chance, and that hopefully the yoga community will support me, my job as a job, because I just don't know what else I would do with my life. I just knew that that was it for me. When I had those, I had to follow this path. Couldn't even name it as being a career. However, as the years go by, now we all have teacher training schools, beautiful studios, and life has changed in the yoga world. It's become, commercialized and all kinds of things like that. And that's a good thing. And has a downside, like everything, too. So anyway, fast forward again, I ended up in India, and I did my first training there in an ashram, which was an ashram means a spiritual school, and you're stripped down to the bare bones of who you are in this foreign place, and you're being taught yoga by these old yogis, and it's all very obscure and strange, and I didn't like one bit of it for a while, and I was shocked because I was like, I'm going to India to do yoga. I thought the most amazing, luxurious kind of experience, because I love yoga asana so much. But it really wasn't that. And that was good for me to experience that. So what that was my stripping down of my programs and my conditioning, because that's what yoga does. And we wanted to do that, to help us get a different perspective of life. That's the ultimate goal of yoga. It's not to, have the perfect toned body and the perfect shaped asana. It's really to up level and elevate ourselves so we can have a better, healthier, more wholesome perspective of our lives. That's what it does. It unlocks something inside of all of us. And I'm sure you've had that experience. That's why you're sitting here wanting to know more. It's like it's unlocked something. And you're like, yeah, those poses are good and they feel damn good in my body. And so they should. And they're making me feel, comfortable in my skin or whatever those things you're getting. But there's more, there's more and you want to know more. And that's a really good thing. And so that's probably what has brought you to here. So then fast forward a bit, I came back from India. Then I went to India, lived there for a while. I had little kids, they're now grown up, little kids, took them with me. They went to Indian school there and just did the whole Indian thing, I just was so hungry. I'm like, what is this thing behind that feeling? That was the seed thing. Did all that. Then I came back and then I was like, I'm not teaching this stuff. This is crazy. This stuff is too big. And my husband at the time was like, you've got to go teach, you're after doing all of that and this and that. And I'm like, no, I can't speak in public, not a chance standing in front of people, speaking about, because I also had a realization this subject was huge. This was not just a few shapes thrown around on the mat, in your yoga pants. It was more, right? So I was intimidated by that, but I was drawn into it at the same time, and intimidated and drawn in at the same time. Anyway, then at my school, my kids' primary school, they're like looking for, us to raise money for the school. So I was like, okay, I'll do a yoga class. That will be my gift to the school. They wanted me to bake and make things. I won't do that, but I'll do a yoga class. And I lived in Wicklow, there's no yoga classes, not the vinyasa style, which I had kind of spun together after, learning whatever I was learning along the way. And everybody came to it. And that was the beginning. I had like 40 people in my first class, and it continued for years, jam-packed, like every square, every space was jammed with people. And I was just teaching and teaching. And then I was like, I was born to do this. I knew it in my bones. And somewhere the voice came out. I was able to express without intimidation and all the fear and all the conditioning, all the programs that I had built up inside myself. They were gone. They just went. The minute I stood there, I knew. It just something opened inside of me and it flowed, and it continues to do so. I don't prepare anything anymore. It just comes and flows. So my point is that's what will happen to you. You know, so I just want you to know, like, just to know, it is one of the big things that we have to address. People do want to do teacher trainings, and I've done many, and I've been lucky to train with a lot of the masters. Some of them are passed on. Now I've had experiences with a lot of the old gurus, because I was so hungry for it, you know, I was investing every part of me into it, and I never questioned it, and I still don't, because it gives me so much back, so much still, you know. The other thing is about teacher training is, I think the word teacher is sometimes intimidating because it sounds like, I don't know, nothing wrong with school teachers. I'm not saying anything negative about that, but it conjures up this image that you are the person running this show, where I feel teacher trainings are more about, all I've ever done is shared my own experience. In my studies, what I've learned from these complicated, sometimes quite complex teachings, but I've downloaded it into my own layman terms, and I can express it in my terms that seems to resonate with people, and that's literally all I do. And I teach people that way. So what it does, it helps you to teach from your real truth and your real heart. You're not trying to intellectualize and learn all the moves and do this perfect thing and be this perfect person, giving out this, you know, sequence or whatever. You are doing it from your heart. And the truth is, you will never go wrong if you teach it from your heart. If you teach what you learn and teach what you know as you go along through the course, you will not go wrong. You will resonate. It will resonate with people. And then people will come to you to learn because they're resonating with you. It's actually not your knowledge at all. They're coming for resonance. They're coming because it's like you're vibrating the same way. And because we, in our world, our modern world, we spend so much time up here, we're constantly trying to intellectualize every single thing we do, including yoga. You cannot intellectualize yoga. It's an experiential thing. You've got to experience it. As some guru along the way said, it's 99% practice and experience and 1% theory. So you learn everything by doing the physical practice every day, because the physical practice is training your body and your mind to be a vessel for the higher learnings, to prepare yourself to understand the stuff. So that's why I was telling the story. I was totally uncomfortable. I'm like, this stuff is too much. I can't remember yamas, niyamas. I can't remember those words, Virabhadrasana, Adho Vishwanasana, and Parshvanasana, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's not going to happen. You know, I was overwhelmed because I was trying to intellectualize it at one point. And then I understood, if I just keep practicing, I'm going to take that on and I'm going to keep practicing and see what happens. And look, it was uncomfortable sometimes because I was like, still, you know, it was like a little bit of a war zone for me, because my inner war zone was, you know, trying to, you know, unlock itself, because there's a thing in yoga called the granthis, and it means the knots. And so the physical practice helps you to unlock these knots, the granthis. There's one in the base of the spine, there's one around the heart, there's one here. And you can literally feel it. Like the more you practice, these knots start to unwind. And it's likened to, you know, if you have a chain and they get a little knot in the chain, you start to fiddle with it and it gets tighter and tighter and you can't get the knot out. But then, you know, they say get a bit of oil and just go, and then the knot loosens and the knot loosens. And that takes a bit of patience and a bit of gentleness, and the knot loosens. And that's what we're like. So yoga practice, vinyasa and all of that is it's really training your body-mind system to undo these knots and unlock these knots inside ourselves. So there has to be a bit of a discomfort with it. And, you know, we all feel amazing and floaty and beautiful after a yoga class, but that's not necessarily the practice itself. That's you, your vibration going up, your frequency goes up. You become more tapped into then to who you are, your essence. So that's kind of what the practice is about. And I'm just saying this because I teach this way. And you would have to know that if you're joining our group here. It's the only, and the truth is, it's the only way to truly learn it. You know, it's not about inhale, arms up, exhale, forward. That's kind of easy. That's repetitive, you know, and you do have to go through that drill sort of thing to learn it. But I just want you to know the behind the scenes intentionality for training with me and Claire and Paul. They're of the same resonance. And that's important that you know that, because it's a big deal to come on board. You know, it really is joining a family, joining a community, but that you know the backdrop and the intentionality behind it, because everything's intention. You know, that's the intention, that it's taught from the heart. Nobody's going to be, it's a non-judgmental zone. You will learn stuff by going deeper inside of yourself to know what's going on in your body, because Claire can't tell you, Paul can't tell you, I can't tell you, because I'm not in your body. So what we are, we're like signposts. We're just pointing you in directions and in ways that you can discover what's going on inside your body, physically, muscles, bones, tissue, and emotional, and your knots. And we want to provide a safe, comforting, elevating, uplifting environment for you to do this as we give you the instructions of what to do. But you take it yourself and you make it your own, and you use it like your mat is like a little discovery, a world where you just practice to discover and be curious and explore yourself. Because that's the ultimate goal of yoga. It's not a set of poses and that's it. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole perspective shift, a 360 shift, so that you live a better, happier life and lessen the suffering of life that none of us can avoid. Life is full of suffering, and yoga is a tool to help us not suffer so deeply, but to learn that sometimes that suffering that we all go through with all the changes and the madness of the chaos of the world, that we've got something, a nice soft place to land and grow and heal and look at, maybe use that suffering that we've gone through as a tool to help us fuel our practice, to keep us coming back to the mat, to keep us coming and elevating ourselves and wanting to know more, opening up those doors inside ourselves. So back to the teacher training bit is, you know, the structure that I've done in person, I do online now since the whole pandemic. You know, one of the gifts is that I uploaded everything online. The plan is to give you that whole online experience, which is amazing. I'm amazed at it myself. It's very interactive. There's lots of, you know, stuff you can go and replay and learn from. Because when we were in person, you would come into the in-person classes and you would get, like, you know, some, you know, practices or sequences, things to work with physically, as well as sit down and in discussion like this, teaching you the philosophy, the behind the scenes stuff, the subtle body, anatomy and physiology. Whereas this technology, you just literally, you own it and you can go in and play with it and go through it and learn and hit replay as many times as you like. I mean, that's incredible. And then come back here to do an in-person thing. I mean, it's quite incredible to have that tool. If I had had that tool all those years I was teaching, where people would come and they'd go away with their books and stuff, and those are grand, the books, but when you've got this interactive visual thing that you can just pop on your laptop or your screen, whatever your device is, and tune into it and go back over stuff. That's pretty amazing. So you get that. Then you get, I will do 4 or 5, not sure, right? 4 or 5 master classes, which would be a day here. And, you know, you will use the stuff that we give you through the technology to work with. And then we all come together and learn more and go deeper, do the deep dives on the master classes. And then Claire and Paul are going to come in and add their beautiful diversity to all of that. And it's going to run over, is it 7 months?
Yeah,
7 months.
I was trying to jam it into 5 months, I don't know why. And then wonderful Teresa's like, why are we doing that? And I was like, I don't know why we're doing that.
Because it's summer holidays.
Summer holidays.
She's thinking,
yeah,
where to get my holidays already?
So we were saying October, but we have a start date, which is January the 22nd, is the definite start date. And then we'll let you know what weekend. So we're looking at between me, Paul, and Teresa, we're doing so it'll be from 12 to 6, Saturday and Sunday. And we're looking at between the 3 of us, 5, 5, and 4. Do the maths on that, pass maths.
40 weekend.
No, it's definitely not that. So you will be, I'm doing 5, you're doing 5, Teresa's doing 4, but they're days. So that's 10, 14 days.
Yes.
7 weekends, there we go. So that's the math.
One of them.
1 a month, and it will go on till October. And we're just finalising the dates. So but we have the start date.
I have the start date,
We
and I
have
have
the
my
start date.
dates.
So we will get you, and if there are any, before we finalise dates and you're really interested, because the in-person, if you can make us, you're going to miss some, we can Zoom record. The chances of getting 12, 13 people to every live event is realistic. But if there are dates we definitely know, send them on over the next 2 weeks and we can try and, you know, accommodate our best. The live events will be 7, that's right, 7 live events. And then Teresa, you were saying about going away for graduation to Timothy House or something.
Well, just, yeah, that's
So
a
that's
possibility. Yeah.
if you would be interested in that, I would definitely be interested in that.
That's later on, down.
So we will let you know about that. But yeah, so that is the plan.
Yeah, so if you just want to stop and pause, I'm going to do just a little bit of just come down into your bodies and just spend a little moment in, you know, come and sit. And if you just take your left foot in front of your groin and then place your right foot in front of that. You're good with that. And hold on to your foot and your calf. See if you can hold on to it, like so. Because what we're going to do is just do a little bit of rocking. But first I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes and just lift up your chest. And relax your shoulders. And just allow those shoulder blades to go down the back. Breathe into the lower belly, the mid belly, and the upper chest. Pause and exhale everything out. Again, breathe into the lower belly, the mid belly, and the upper chest. Pause and exhale everything out. And again, breathe into the lower belly, the mid belly, and the upper chest. Pause and exhale everything. Now just take your left hand and place it on the heart. And just set your intention. So what is your intention? Why are you here? And I don't mean to ask that in a confrontational way. It's just an inner quest that you ask yourself. And set your intention as precise as you can for your vision, your wish, your dream for you, all about you. And make that visual as sharp and as precise as you can. And breathe slowly. And then let's go to our friends and our family and our loved ones and set an intention for them. I like the intention of flourishing relationships. And breathe slowly. So these are seeds that you're planting in your heart. Intentionality is powerful. And then going to our global family, for the planet, your intention. And then breathe into belly, ribs, and chest. Hold it at the top. And slowly exhale. So now you're watering those seeds. Breathe in belly, ribs, and chest, and hold it at the top. And exhale slowly. All right, and then just hold on to that foot, hand on the calf, on the foot, and then inhale, just bring your chest forward, chin up. And then exhale, round the shoulders, belly in. Inhale, extend the chest, lift it up, mouth closed. Exhale, round the back. So it's a little bit like cat-cow. So just flexion to the spine. This is flexion, lifting the chest. And round, exhale. And inhale, lift the chest, shoulders back, throat opens, and exhale. And then on your own, a few more, just flexion and extension to your spine, because our spine is the central column, called the Shushuma of energy. So inhale, it's also the central axis for all your yoga poses. Everything in yoga is based around our spine. So inhale forward, exhale back. So a little bit of a rock onto your seat bones. Inhale forward and exhale back. All right, and then come back to center. And then inhale, press down through your buttocks and then bring your arms up and press the hands together and just lengthen up, lengthen up, lengthen up. Take in a breath and then just wiggle your side to side ribs. Kick them out from side to side. So we're just little lateral movement into our spine. Just kick the ribs out. Breathe. Inhale up. And exhale. And inhale, lengthening your spine. And exhale. One more. Inhale, lengthen more. Press down through your tail. And exhale. All right, so now we're going to take our hands and just let them fall gently out to the right. To the right. So your left hand can be on your knee and the other hand behind you. Relax your shoulders. Tall spine, inhale. And as you exhale, see can you turn back from the belly button area, twisting, drop your shoulders. So we're trying to have the mouth closed unless you're cold, of course. You just do what you can. But the lips touching and the teeth not touching. And breathing in through the nostrils, jaw soft. And back out. And inhale. Staying relaxed. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. All right, so inhale, just turn your head Then your shoulders turn, and then you bring your arms up. Inhalation, lengthen up. Big breath in, and then let your hands fall gently out to your left. Drop the shoulders, but lift your chest. Inhale, and twist back. Exhale with relaxed shoulders, belly in. Inhalation. And exhalation. One more inhalation. And exhalation. So keeping your right hand on your left knee, turn your head forward, turn your shoulders forward, and then lift your left arm up, lengthen up, inhale, lengthen, and lean it out to the right. And just reach arm over ear, looking to the fingertips. See, can you turn your chest open and try to press down through your left buttock. Press down so both buttocks are grounded as you lean, as you breathe. Nice. Then take your left hand to your right knee, you're holding with the knees, and see, can you pull yourself forward. And breathe. And just use your head to lengthen the back of your neck. And breathe, drop forward. And you just go to where it feels good. Inhale, lift the head up. Now start to release the left arm. So it comes out to the right. And your chest is opening to the right. Inhale. Press the right buttock down. And take the right arm up. And then lean it out to the left and turn the chest and breathe. So lips touching, teeth are not. Aiming to do nasal breathing. Just see what you can do. Leaning and breathing. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, taking that right hand to the left knee. See, can you draw yourself a little deeper? Just let your head drop so the back of the neck goes long. And you breathe in. And you breathe out. And one more in. One more out. Inhale, release yourself up. Try to bring your arms up with the elbows crossed and the palms they touch. Bring the arms back by the ears. And see, can you stretch your armpits open? Bring the hands long, so squeezing into your temples, lengthening that spine again, breathing in. Breathing out. One more in. One more out. Nice. Now bring the hands down slowly, bring them behind, and see, can you lace your fingers and wiggle the inner tips of the shoulder blades in towards each other. The breastbone lifts, the mouth is closed, the chin lifts up, the throat, it stretches open. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathing in. And out. One more in. One more out. Now super slow as you can, ground through your buttocks and let your head go forward just to where you can go. Third eye facing towards the floor, drop head, length. And just pause at your edge, breathing in. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Now press through your buttocks and start to pull through your hands. until you come back up. Release the hands back onto the knees, turn the palms down, and just pause there, eyes closed, just inner focus. Just get a little sense of inside, internal focus, relaxing breathing. Right, bring your hands together, keep your eyes closed, but rub your hands together, create some energy in your hands. Rub them. Place them on your face. Now close your fingers so there's no light coming in, and open your eyes into the darkness of your palms. And see, can you draw the energy in through your eyes, right into the back of the eye, behind the eyes. Nice, and then release the hands down. And then super slowly lift your eye gaze up, back into focus. Take your time. Curl the edges of your lips up so you got a little smile on the face. So that is basically one of the structures of your whole asana, whether you're doing the absolute or whether you're doing the Brahma flow, which is going to be the main thread running through this. These are old books printed out. The books, everything's online and you print them out. There's great links to get them printed really super nice and bound. These are kind of the older ones, but they're all very nice and stylish looking, but really good syllabus. But my point there is that is the basic structure of your whole asana, what we just did there. You're like, what? What is that? We took the spine into its full range of motion. We lengthened it, right? Then we took it to rotation, right? And then we took it to rotation left. Then we laterally stretched it right and left. And then we went back. And then we went forward. That is the essence of all the, doesn't matter what style of vinyasa that you're doing, absolute or Brahma. What you're doing is you're taking your spine in its full range of motion, and that's a full, true practice. So it can be done just simply like that, daily. And that's what a yogi wants to do. And the reason for that is because the spine is the central column of the whole structure of our body, right? Our bone body, everything. Our nervous system, it originates in our spine, and our spinal column is in there too. And we are our nervous systems. So when you meet somebody, when you meet me, you're meeting my nervous system. When I meet you, I'm meeting your nervous system. And what do I mean by that? Yoga is a practice of calming the nervous system down. We are our nervous systems in the sense of when we meet somebody and they're frazzled and they can't look at you and they're like, and they can't, you know, I gotta go. That's their nervous system, frazzled. And who is that? Everybody. That's the nervous system. And you know, it is, and that is the main cause of illness, because what is that? High stress. And making it normal. We've normalized this way of living. Gotta go, I can't even focus. What you say? I can't even listen, I can't hear, I can't even see you. Like that is the nervous system talking, right? No focus, no concentration, no clarity, fragmented, a complete mess, and probably not in any way functioning as they should. Right? So yoga brings you, because your spine is being treated every time in a very practical way, because we're treating the physical bone structure, of our endocrine, our nervous system is connected in to our spine. And there's another layer to this we'll get into a tiny bit. So what the main learning and teaching of yoga is to address the nervous system daily so that you become a calm, alert, clear, highly functioning person in the chaos of the world. You cannot do anything about the chaos of the world. You cannot control external events. Most people come from that point. A yogi comes from the internal to take care of the internal, and they can address the external. That is the ultimate goal of why would you do yoga practice every day? You want to address your nervous system, so you bring it into this neutral place, so you begin to operate that way. And that becomes your reality over time. You just are, it becomes the norm rather than the hectic, crazy, can't cope, can't deal with anything, you know, attitude, adrenalized, coffee, stimulants, too much screen time. And we have normalized those programs, conditioning. Nothing we can do about that. You can still live within that world, but you can live in a more calmer, healthier, clearer state of being. So that's what the physical practice and committing to it. So what is a teacher training? It's just really us trying to get you to come into our community. And these are carrots that we've got. Come on along with me, you know, because the more, you know, a yogi's job is to share and serve and be living that type of life as best it can. And trust me, I get frazzled and stuff, but I have my toolbox. I've got my yoga toolbox. I tap into it when that stuff happens, and it's not so a mess as it would be without it. And it's our job to share and build and build and build and build community, because then what have we got? A better world. That's the ultimate goal. Because if everybody addresses their nervous system physically on a daily basis, you know, we'll be able to cope much better. We'll have better relationships, more functioning. You know, how many times, I know you know this, you didn't do your yoga for a month, a week, and you're like, oh, Teresa, I'm a mess. I just don't know what to do. I'm like, just get on that mat. The hardest thing in the world is to get on the mat. It's the hardest thing, because you will find every single, your mind will go, oh, got an email over here, got a text that, oh, the kids, oh my God, the shopping. Your mind will do that deliberately. That is the nature of mind. Our conditioned modern minds, busy minds, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This is the sutra, the first sutra that you will learn on your course. And it's written in the first section. Chitta is the mind, and vritti is the movement and agitations and distractions. And Chitta Vritti Nirodha is the purpose of yoga, is to harness the vritti, the distracted, you know, chaotic mind, chitta mind stuff, and bring it into neutral. That is the first sutra written thousands and thousands of years ago. How is it so relevant to today? We didn't have iPhones back then to, like, you know, distract them with screens and, you know, 4x4 things and everything that we have. But they knew that wisdom. That wisdom is so rich and so relevant. The stuff that you're learning, it's so old, written thousands and thousands of years ago. But it's more relevant to our life. We need it more than ever now. The chitta vritti needs to be calmed down, because just like you're meeting each other's nervous systems, you're meeting each other's mind stuff too. So the mind stuff usually is storytelling. It's telling you a story all day, every day. The typical shape of our mind is, it's negative, it's repetitive. That is the natural shape of the human mind, and always has been. These guru guys, these rishis knew that thousands of years ago. They went off and studied what will happen if I sit for hours in a yoga pose. what will happen? I mean, we are benefiting from them doing that. That's what they did. They were, nothing else to do, but they did that study so they could give us the experience. This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens. And so it's gone on. Yoga's evolved and evolved and evolved and still evolving to this day. But what they're doing is they're watching the mind and they're understanding how the mind is running the show most of the time until you wake up. And how do you wake up? You get on your mat every day. Every day, every day. You make time and use, I'm too busy. Well, that means you got to spend more time on your mat. The weird good thing is the more you dedicate to your physical practice, the more time, the more space you will have in your life. It's a funny thing. You've probably noticed that. I know some of you practice. When you've done your practice, you have more time. Like, that's amazing. I'm not late. I'm not rushing. I can actually focus when somebody says something to me and take on and maybe help them, rather than like, I've no time, I gotta go. That's because you've calmed and neutralized all the chitta-vritti, and you've cleared the mind of the clutter. It'd be kind of like if you didn't clean your house for a month or 2 or 6, what would it be like? If you don't do that to your mind stuff and your nervous system, if you don't adjust it daily, it'll build up and build up and build up, and that's what happens. Then we have mental problems, so many mental problems, right? Emotional and mental issues is the biggest thing, talking about that the whole time, because the illness, the sickness in the mind is a mind that can never be calm and never gets to come clear and calm, has never had a practice that can do it naturally, organically by itself, And we do live in a world where it's like, go to the doctor and take a pill. There must be something wrong, you can't sleep at night. The yoga toolbox has something for all of that. It addresses everything. And that's what one of the greatest mantras and prayers is, the Guru mantra is, we are giving thanks to all these dudes years ago that went and studied, and all the people that came after them up to this day, up to people that taught me 2 weeks ago when I was away. You're constantly giving thanks because you're getting a nugget of wisdom from everybody, and it's building you and shaping you and reshaping you and redesigning you as a yogi. And because this is a lifestyle, it's not a 200-hour program. I'm sorry to say, it's a 200-year program. It doesn't end. You do this program, there's the next and the next and the next and the next. And that is the truth of the yogi. And these are the people we want to magnetize into our program here, because then we can really teach you, because your mind and your heart will be open and in the right place to learn this stuff and to take it on. But it is a lifestyle change, switch, but it'll happen organically. It's not like the 10 commandments. We have the yamas and niyamas. There's 10 of them. 5 yamas, 5 niyamas. They're like the philosophical tenets of yoga, but they're not like the 10 commandments. Those who are familiar with that. Nobody in yoga is ever commanding you to do anything. You can come to the yoga program and just sit there all day. I'm not doing anything. Okay, that's cool. You do that. Because the yoga will eventually take care of this, The yoga will make the shift and the change. You don't have to decide it. Your mind doesn't decide, well, I've got to be a vegetarian now. I've got to take green juices. I better not have a drink, and I better quit that coffee. You don't have to do any of that. You can bring your coffee, your drinks, your bad habits, no problem. They're all welcome, because you committing to the yoga practice through this program that we're going to lock you into is going to change you naturally and organically. You'll just wake up and go, I don't really feel like having a cigarette now today. Not today anyway. Well, I don't think I'll call that person anymore. I just, I know I've known them 20 years, but Their vibration brings me down. I'm not now really, I'm tuned into my own high vibration. I don't want to, you know what I mean? So you start, relationships change. Things get healthier, things fall away, new things come in because you are shifting your internal. Like, you know, we try to change our worlds from the external mostly, and we're taught that, and we're sold that, and we're conditioned to think that, but it doesn't work that way because we spend our life grasping and running and chasing. But when you take the shift from the inside out, that's when the real deep changes start to happen. And all you have to do, step one, get on the mat every day. And it can be 5 minutes. I've only got 5 minutes, Teresa and Claire and Paul. Cool, do that. Because one of the first things when you start this yoga teacher training is we ask you to do a number of things. One of them is everyday practice. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, everyday meditation. 30 seconds, morning and evening. So, you know what I mean? Who hasn't got time to do that? You can do 3 minutes yoga practice. Just what I did there, that was probably 5 minutes. That took your spine and all rotation. And did you come out of it feeling a little more the power of it? So just know that you don't have to do this full on 90 minutes every time to be a yogi. You can come to Claire and Paul's class and do that full on. I love that. I love going to other people's classes and studios and doing the 90, whatever, when I feel like it, you know. But my daily practice every day, I mean, every day, my daily practice is everything. I was driving here. I was practicing my yoga, driving here, my divine driving, I call it. I was doing some breathing. I'm a chanter. I was listening to my chants, you know, all day, every day. You can integrate your yoga into your whole day, you know, the way you bend down. You'll bend down in a different way, the way you pick something up. You know, it's the most common thing that we do, forward bending every day. So you want to be 80 and 90 and maybe more, 100, bending forward in the same way you're doing it now, in a healthy, functional way. And that's what the asanas will do. Then one of the most important things to practice every day is balance, because as we get older, that's one thing we're very reliant on. The biggest thing that older people end up dying and in hospital with, more than cancer, more than heart, is falling. Older people fall and end of their life comes very quickly. That is how most elderly people statistically pass away. Not from cancer, not from heart. So what does that teach us as yogis? Let's start working on our balancing practice now. Stand on one leg, just simple. Stand on one leg and then the other leg, and that's it. You're done every day. And then if you want, you can do the beautiful balancing sequences that we are going to dish out for you, the dance on breath as you balance. But the functionality behind why you're doing this are these are the reasons why, not just for this day, it's for down the road, you know. So if you start to walk in a more balanced way, you start to adjust your whole architecture of your body in a more balanced way, you're mentally more balanced. It just follows through. How you feel, it just flows out into how you interact in your day. You take care of your nervous system, you're more present. You've more ability to be here now and take on this moment. Most anxiety is driven by worrying about tomorrow, worrying about the future, worrying about your pension, worrying about, you know, your kids, worrying about what's going to happen. It's probably none of that stuff's going to happen. But you spent your whole several young decades going, what if this happens? It's because you're not present. It creates anxiety. And then you go to the doctor, and the doctor goes, here's a pill. And that's the world we live in. Yoga has a tool for that. Just get on the mat. 5 minutes a day will adjust that nervous system and clear that mind enough for you to cope and not have a build-up of stress in your life, you know. So The other thing we look at is the philosophy, which I absolutely love to teach. It's my favorite thing to teach. Talking about the yamas and niyamas, because it translates so well into how to live a good life today. It's not some old funky, old, philosophy that's very hard to get a grip on. Now, if you read, the Vedic texts, it might come across that way. You're like, what are they talking about? But I've read it and I've gone through that process of that, but I have my own way of explaining it. I'll just give you a tiny little tidbit of ahimsa. Ahimsa is one of the main tenets of the yamas and niyamas. And what does that mean? It means non-violence. What does non-violent mean? I mean, it's very clear that I should not go and hit Claire or Paul. I would never dare. We know that. I think we're all pretty clear on that. It would be a good idea to do that. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Ahimsa is, what are you saying to yourself every day when you get up and look in the mirror naked? What do you say to yourself? Let's take it from that point, because we all do that at some point. What are you saying to yourself? That's ahimsa. So what you've got to do as a yogi, you've got to not do that. You've got to figure out a way of loving yourself enough that whatever's presenting in you is accepted and it's not judged. That is true ahimsa. So the yogi can move through their life in a state of self-love and self-respect and self-care as a priority. That is what ahimsa is. So it's mental thoughts, violent thoughts. It's not just physical violence. We know not to hit anybody or not to allow anyone to hit you. So that's how ahimsa works. There's Yama's work is there's a front end and a back end. So okay, it's not good to judge yourself as a yogi. You've got to practice. These are the tougher muscles that we've got to work out, rather than down dog. Yes, we get the tone muscle from that. But you've got to get the muscle of patience, courage, non-judgment, clarity. Those are tougher muscles to work out daily. So as you go about through your day, what are you saying to yourself mentally? Are you criticizing yourself? Are you saying, oh, they didn't like me, and I didn't like that vibe, all of that we all experience. That is the chitta vritti. That's what the yogis talk about. That's human conditioning. That's our mind. And we're in a more difficult space because we're in this modern, supposedly highly sophisticated world, but we're still suffering worse than ever. Looking at our phones and Instagram and going, my yoga pose doesn't look like that, and criticizing ourselves. So number one thing is that you do your practice and you don't criticize yourself. Practice that. Come to class and practice not looking at someone going, oh, she looks really good in that pose, I look crap, and look at him and his head's down, amazing. Practice that. That's what we're going to ask you to do. So that's just one, and there's more to it. It goes on, there's layers and layers and layers and layers. I can talk for hours about one tenet and just bring all the realities of it into your day. Another one is asteya. Asteya is not stealing, So it's not a good idea for Claire to come up and take my laptop home with her tonight. I think that's pretty clear. I'm not going to walk around when you're in Shavasana and nick your nice purse. I'm not going to do that. I think I know that. You know that. But there's more things to it than that. There's stealing someone's time, or allowing someone to steal your time. And you do nothing about it. Like, God, they always come in at the last, and they know I'm rushing, and I know I have kids, and I know I've got to go somewhere. That's stealing. So it's to become. So what's the point of all this? Is to become awake and conscious. Which, first of all, it feels like a big slap in the face of reality, of your reality, because you're like, oh my God, goggles of reality goes on. You start going deeper and deeper into yoga, and it shows up all this stuff. because you've got to keep watching. And you've got to watch all this and watch yourself from a neutral place of no judgment. So that's a hard task, but doable. But what happens when you start doing these, practicing these tenets, your life changes, you change, your environment change, your relationships change, your life elevates, you elevate, you see the world differently, you feel the world differently, you sense things, you just awaken these parts. So that's what, you know, these tenets do. Stealing somebody's energies as well. Just energetically, we do that to each other. You know those people who go, I feel so drained when they've come around, you know. And what do you do about that? Well, maybe you don't give as much of yourself. You hold your energy back. Or are you doing that to somebody else, you know? So there's lots of ways. So yoga is interesting in that way. It gives you these simple things to look at with yourself and cultivate and develop within yourself. But you've got to look at all the layers and layers and layers to each one. So that would be that's why it's a 200-year program. It just goes on forever. It's just because you have to constantly adjust yourself. And because it's non-judgmental, you don't show up and go, I really screwed up now, Paul. I didn't do any of the practice this month. No judgment, because, you know, you're the one benefiting or not benefiting as a result of your commitment, you know. And that can be okay too, because over the years I've had lots of people say that, and I just go, that's interesting. Okay, so give it a go. Maybe just try, let's just do 3 of these poses in the sequence, you know, whatever it is. Just stick to that. And I don't want you to do any more. Like, what? That's all? Yeah, that's all. Then they come back and going, oh my God, I did the whole thing. I just was so in love with those sequences. I built them up in me and I just couldn't, you know, they just fell out of me. So it's a way of baby steps. It's reminding you, drip feed baby steps. So you're not overwhelmed. You haven't signed up to something overwhelming. You're going to do it in a drip feed way. And remember, it's a 100-year program or 200 years, depends on, you know, how many green juices you have. Right. So just to, you know, calm your nerves about if you were going, oh my God, what did I sign up for? It's you just signed up for community and a lifestyle, and you're going to learn amazing things about yourself. And we're going to give you all these tools that's going to help you learn these things for yourself, by yourself. You'll be highly taken care of, all your needs along the way, all your questions, all your queries. And it's like a creative flow of learning, like, oh, what if I try? Claire comes in and she teaches you, oh, that's so interesting the way she taught me the warrior. And Teresa taught me it this way, but it's all feeling really good in my body. You know, so you're getting all these inspirations from diversity, which is what yoga is. It's a no one size fits all. So nobody's warrior is going to look the same as the next person's warrior. So how can you ever judge it? And here's the other thing. This is one of my main mantras in yoga is feel it, don't think it. I want you to feel the asanas, come into the asanas and feel them from the inside out. Because when we as humans have that experiential thing, we never forget it. When we're trying to intellectualize, oh, is that my right knee over that back leg? Can't remember. You can't remember it. You know, you trip yourself up and you get stressed trying to intellectualize the pose. So, but when you close your eyes and you feel yourself in the pose, in fact, let's do it. Let's come into dog pose. So if you want to come onto your knees. And spread your hands wide. And what we'll do before we lift up, just do some little circles, like you're warming, you know, your body slowly, slow, breathing in, circle maybe out to the right. Slowly, as slow can you go? 100-year program, Apply that to your movement. Breathe in and slow it down. Feel the joint in the shoulder moving, feel the hip joint moving, feel every part, spine flexing. Maybe let your head go a little bit and let it roll naturally around. So you're releasing, maybe you've been sitting there for a little while, so you're releasing some tension from that. Maybe slide back, take your tail back to your heels and close your eyes. You want to have an internal experience and slide forward. And then maybe lift your chest just a little bit. You're doing it all at your own pace. Close your eyes and slide your body back to the heels and slowly slide it forward and maybe lift the chest a little bit more. We'll do one more of those. Inhale, slide. Now round it back as you go back to the child this time. So you're a rounded back child. Just feel how that feels in your body. And then slide it forward, back up onto all fours. Good. And then now look at your hands and spread them open. Give your hands a little attention for a moment. Middle finger forward, but maybe the thumb forward, depending on your shoulders. Play with distances so you don't get stuck in something, because maybe if your hands go a tiny bit wider, it might feel better in your shoulders. See, can you press the bases of your index fingers, those little pads on your base of your fingers? Press them down and now release. Press them and release. Press them and release. Nice. Now tuck your toes under and just feel the stretch in the foot. Just feel the stretch in the foot. So you're not rushing. The Chitta Vritti, calm it down. I know you know this pose. I know your body knows it. But you want to be breaking it down into minuscule experiences. How's your knees feel on the mat? How do your toes feel tucked under? Breathe. This is your inquiry. Slowly, with the breath, lift your knees up just a little bit. And then exhale. Now push a little more at your arms. Lift the bum up a bit more. Keep the knees bent. Now drop your head. Bum to the sky. Head it drops, but the knees are bent. I know you can do straight legs, but we're going to keep them bent for uno momento. Bring your nose to the knee and let your head drop. So your head is dropping and we use the head to lengthen the neck. Breathe. Eyes are looking up towards belly button area. Take in a large breath and bring your right heel down. Doesn't have to touch down, but you can try. Take in another breath, and as you exhale, take your left heel down. Nice. Now go in behind the backs of your knees and see, can you stretch the skin that's there? Just see, can you stretch it? What do you need to do to stretch it? Try to slope your bum a little bit more to the sky. And try to widen the distance between your shoulder blades. So you've got a nice bit of space between the shoulder blades. Look up to the belly button so the back of the head is releasing, breathing. Let's do 5 breaths here. Close your eyes and just be fully in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog for these 5 breaths. Explore it. How's your upper back feel? How's your mid-back feel? 4 more breaths in through the nose. And back out. 1 more in. And back out. How soft is your face? How steady is your eyes? Now for the last 2 breaths, can you hold your body super steady? Like no movement, just the breath moving through the asana. And how does it feel? 1 more breath. Super steady, relaxed, strong. Exhale. So we're going to release it. So inhale first. And exhale, knees down, release. Slide your bum back, Release your toes, round your back. Just go back to the child for uno momento and drop the whole weight of your body into this child pose just to feel it. And slowly, slowly, slowly walk your hands back and come up. How was the cheek that breathed deep? Did you get inside? Little doorway open. Just feel it. Does it make sense to feel it, not thinking? Because your feeling, your sense, your visceral feeling is the great educator of the asana. So when you start to feel stuff, you're just never going to forget it. And you're going to go deeper with it every time. Deeper. And that's what yoga is about and asana is about. Go deeper every time. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. And it takes you deeper. But you've got to quiet the mind. And you've got to have those still moments. And look, I love vinyasa. I'm a vinyasa queen. I love it. I love the movement because vinyasa to me is meditation in motion. You get into that place where I'm just not thinking, my body's moving freely, not thinking, because it's all meditation at the end. But if we're going intellectualizing our asana, and having said that, I just want you to know it's okay, especially as a new teacher trainer, to do that. It's okay, because you can't judge yourself for doing it. But you know that you're okay, just change that. Feel it. I'm just going to feel this and not think it for now. You can sit down and look at stuff and listen and take it on intellectually that way. But when you're in asana, it's best to try to feel it to learn it. And then when you feel it, you just build on that and build on it. And that's how you learn it, if you're concerned about learning it, you know. And you can't get it wrong, ever. Like, you know, Claire and Paul's flow, the Brahma flow, which we're, you know, I'm using, it's on your technology on the site. It's a wonderful practice. It was created by Brian Kast, who created Power Yoga. He's a friend of mine, amazing teacher, big celebrity teacher in a lot of ways now. But he's just very humble and about the way he teaches it. It's all about just, you know, you can't get it wrong. The only thing wrong is if you're hurting yourself. That's the wrong. So we're going to ask you not to do that, you know, and in asana. So you can't go wrong. You're just going to learn by feeling things. And if it doesn't feel good, you've got to stop, change it, or find another way. Or you come and say, what can I do here, you know, to help me? Because that's not working in my hip or my knee. Or, you know, and then we can help you as much as we can with that. But it'll also be up to you to explore. Is there something else you can do? Because nobody knows, no teacher in yoga can ever feel what you're feeling in a pose, you know. So your yoga teacher doesn't know absolutely everything, the correct answer for you. So teaching yoga and becoming a yoga teacher and going deeper into all of this stuff is actually creating pure independence. So you go to your teachers that you like to learn from, and then maybe one day you'll leave them because you find someone else. And that's the flow of yoga. You know, you can stay with the teacher for a long time and then you can switch, or you can have several teachers because you're learning, you're being fed by their, you know, teachings and knowledge and wisdom and experience. But it's you become an independent, totally, and that's what a good teacher, a good teacher trainer wants, is they want their yogis to be so independent. We don't want you to be codependent, going, oh, you know, you've got the answer. No, you've got the answer. If you can quieten the mind enough and commit yourself enough, the answer is there. It's all there inside you, inside of all of us. if we can quieten our mind enough to get to that place. So this program is going to just open doors, and, to help you train muscles like kindness and non-judgment and patience towards yourself, elevating yourself on a daily basis. And then, the asana, the daily asana, going to do 5 minutes a day. Cool, great, do that, And you want to do 3 hours a day? Brilliant, It's like, but there won't be any big gold stars for you to in person because you did 5 hours and you only did 5 minutes. It's going to be all very individual. Everybody's body is different. So how could these asanas fit all the bodies? There's, as I love what Brian Kess says, he said there's how many billion? 7 billion people on the planet. Is it 7 billion? There's 7 billion ways to do a pose, because there's so many of us and there's so much diversity. So, and these are the common concerns I've noticed over the years. People want to do a teacher training, afraid to even ask, but wanting to. You know that feeling when you see somebody doing something that you love and you're just going, and afraid to say it, So I'm trying to touch on those points because they're so typical of what people are concerned about in signing up for programs. Will I be fit enough? Will I be good enough? How can I, what if this happens over here? What if that, all of these things. But yoga is a big melting pot, and it's a wonderful toolbox to help us along the way. And there's something for all of us all the time, no matter what. It's a place of refuge. That's what yoga is. It's a place of refuge where you go to, whether it's on your mat or in 360 studio or wherever. It's a place of refuge. And that's what we need to know, the truth of yoga. It's all about the truth. It's not about perfect toned body. It's not about getting perfect shape asana. It's not about doing a headstand. Tons of amazing yogis out there never did a headstand or handstand ever, or nor are they going to. But if you want to, cool, we can teach you. So, it's like not to worry. I mean, these beautiful complex asanas, they're so exhilarating to look at. But it's not the goal of yoga, but they're there for you to explore. And some people do it and some people don't. Some people have a minimalistic asana practice, but got a huge meditation practice or a huge in-service practice, just in service to the community. Because those are the truths of yoga. Or a bhakti, that would be what I would call my main practice is bhakti yoga, which is chanting. But bhakti means devotion, but it's not devotion in religious sense. It's totally non-religious. There's religion and spirituality, and we're all spiritual beings. But what it means to me is devotion. So we're all devoted to something. And sometimes it's bad habits. We're devoted to our bad habits. We're devoted to our wrong thinking. We're devoted to our judgment on ourselves and others. We're devoted to our anxiety, to our depression, to our whatever. All of that. Bad relationships, wrong choices. Those are devotions. So what bhakti is, it switches it and it gives you something to devote yourself to. But it's got a feedback loop of energizing you and healing you and elevating you and nourishing you and nurturing you. And it's a conscious choice that you make. So, Claire and Paul would definitely be devoted to yoga, but I just want to make it clear it's non-religious. As people go, oh, that chanting and bhakti, it sounds so religious, and it's another culture and it's another language, but it's not religious, it's pure spiritual in the sense of just trying to awaken things inside of us that are already there. They're just asleep. But when they wake up, they feed our soul They feed our whole external life, our physical life, because they're coming from the soul, which is the first place. So I'm going to just close my chat, and I'm open for questions and stuff at the end. I'm going to close my chat with a chant. Would you like to do it with me? The mantra. And I know if you're not familiar with the mantra, don't be worried about it. It is something that I teach, but it's part of the yoga tradition. And all it is we use Sanskrit words that are very old, have a high vibration, and you don't have to know what they mean. And they're just lovely words. Jema, Jijama, Sitaram, Sitaram, simple stuff. Shriram, you just copy what I'm saying, you just follow. You say it or you don't. You could say it mentally, you could say it out there. It's not about singing, but if you sing, cool, sing away. It's chanting, it's about creating vibration. And these words, these sacred sound, holds a vibration. And it's basically, from the divine, things I can't even explain a lot of it, but it's a feeling. And it's about the feeling that it generates inside you. So you might feel something, you might feel nothing. It doesn't matter, But I'd like to close and give these two lovelies a chance to inject us, hogging the show, hogging the time. Well, okay. Yes. So I have a little backing track, so hold on, let me get it right. So a little beat going with this too. So just give me a moment. So I like to, before I do any practices, is to set intention. If you want to lie down, if you're more comfortable lying down, feel free or sit up and just give it a go, whatever you want to do. Just to be comfortable is key. So if you want to just close your eyes, and again, so you can think of an intention and dedicate your intention devoted to the mantra. And you just say the words in any way that you like. You just copy me. So you set your intention. It'd be good if you're thinking of doing something like this. You could just ask for clarity around it. Ask your guides or divinity to give you clarity. It's the right place for you. So I'm going to do 3 simple ones. We'll merge them together. So the first one is Jema. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Jema. Jema is the planet. Mother Earth. And it's divine feminine. It's all the mothers, male and female. We all have mothering energy inside us. It's our grandmothers. It's our long lineage of grandmothers that went before us. It's the planet though. And it's nourishing energy, and we just call it in. And J is like an honoring word, and Ma is like ma. And we'll do it together. So you can follow in with me whenever you feel it. So it's J Ma, J Ma, J Ma. J Ma, J Ma, J Ma. Let's do it together. It's a simple verse. J Ma, J Ma, J Ma. J Ma, J Ma, J Ma. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai 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 Ma. I like to put my hand in my heart. If you like to do that, so you feel your heart's vibration. If you're comfortable with that. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. 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 Let's try this. Just the Om. Om. Together. And again. Let's try this one. Sitarama, Sitaram. Do it together. Sitarama, Sitaram. Sitarama, Sitaram. That's a love song to the universe. Sitarama, Sitaram. Romance with the universe. Sitarama, Sitaram. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Try. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Don't worry, can't mess it up. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 To make the impossible possible. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Put the three together. Jai Jai Ma, Jai 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 Ma. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Jema, Jema, Jema. Jema, Jema, Jema. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Sitarama, Sitarama. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 You want to rub your hands together, keep your eyes closed. Place the darkness of the hands over the eyes. Cleanse out the light, then open your eyes. Just receive all that nourishing energy through your eyes for clear perspective, clear vision. Slowly release your hands down. And super slowly raise your eyes, looking around with the lips curled up, forcing you to smile. So, yeah, I don't know if that was the first time I chanted, but it's a little weird but really it's energy. Just receiving some good energy from source. I'm going to hang about for more chats, not in a hurry. And I hugged all the time. I just didn't look at my clock. You should have kicked me out.
Not so.
I know. You guys chat and well, I'm available for you, and you can get a tour of the site through a link to see what that technology is what, just to see how amazing it is. If, that's kind of.
You gave me that link so I can
share that. And any questions? This is the certification we get at the end. La 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 la. I'm just like, I just want my cert. Just give me that certificate. And what it is, I'll just tell you about it, and we will have affiliation to 360 on it. So this is the symbol of the ashram that I trained in India here. So it's their emblem, you could say. And this was, my certification was stamped by the Indian government. There's only a couple of certifications that they do because there's so much in yoga in India trainings. But this ashram, so that's that there, that connects you in to the ashram in India. And this is the Yoga Alliance, obviously, in that civic space. So it's a really nice kind of thing. And it's been at school for 16 years, official school. Have a look through the books, it's beautiful. Anatomy books, so feel free afterwards to just browse. It's a really nice syllabus, And I'm going to step aside and let somebody else speak.
Yeah, so look, as Teresa said, like we're all here to help throughout the whole course. And I'm kind of reflecting and speaking on some of the things I found intimidating when I first started doing teacher training. I suppose our first step into yoga was in this room.
Yeah,
I think it was in the Ashtanga, yeah.
That's why it's called 360.
Yeah, it was literally here.
Full circle.
Oh, how cool. I never knew what. I thought you 365 and you forgot about 60.
No.
I'd be kidding.
Yeah.
I knew there was a bit.
So we did, it was an Ashtanga, primary Ashtanga series.
Incredible.
She was great. I mean, it must be
We don't
a
know.
red-haired girl
Yeah.
used to teach here, Dalkey, someplace in Booterstown. And she did it for about 3 or 4 years because loads of people I know did 10-week.
Was it Orla? Her name Orla.
Long reddish kind of hair. Don't know.
Go on anyway.
But so yeah, Ashtanga we began with in here, which is it's a bit like thinking I'll start doing a little bit of training and jumping in a ring with Muhammad Ali. That's what we do. Yeah. But still, it was good. I mean, it was great to try it, and it was the first step into it. And gradually after that, we did classes here and classes there. You got very much into the idea of teaching before I ever did. And
Should turn the camera.
yeah,
It's all for me.
So we really just began as a way of